snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Here he goes. It's Hester. Inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. Missed the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pigskin Project. We're starting off a little slow today. Obviously, it's a little bit later than expected. We are so sorry about that. And we've got a little bit of bad news that we will start off with for weekly news before we jump the gun. I want to explain the layout of the show as well, because we've got a lot of exciting things to talk about, carrying on from last week as well. But obviously, we've got the Cardinals and the 49ers schedules. And then we also have, College Football 25 starting next week. What is it? Monday at midnight is when we'll finally be able to play this game. Matt Hartman, we do have an announcement to make as well. But Matt Hartman and I will be able to play. Hopefully Ben, if he would just listen to me. But anyway.
I'm a patient guy. I'm not going to pay the extra $30 to get the game.
You're not going to, but I'll be darned if my friend sits on the sideline while I have fun. That's just
guys.
lame.
You've heard it here first. I've been demoted to friend, not best friend.
Well, yes, best friend. I almost called you family there. That's why I stuttered. But anyways,
Oh my goodness, guys! I'm
sorry. We've got the schedules. We're talking about College Football 25 as well. Weddle. We will continue to play that today. Ben has a 15-game lead, and that's just not cool to me. And then, like I said, continuing off of our conversations yesterday, we are still doing the Hostess versus Little Debbie discussion.
I am so ready to go to war for my side, by the way. If you guys had tuned into last week's episode, you guys know where I fall. If you haven't, stay tuned until the end of the podcast and get ready to hear me fight Ryan about this.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's probably, we haven't even discussed our halves on it or our points of view. So, we might even agree on some things. It's going to be fun. But nonetheless, let's get started with our first segment.
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
All right. So, like I said, guys, we're starting off a little bit slow. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because we're going to keep things all bright, shiny, and happy. Just like nothing bad in the world ever happens, Vikings 2024 4th-round pick corner Kyrie Jackson has unfortunately passed away as a result of a drunk driving accident. Neither him nor the driver with him was drunk, just so you know, but he was hit by a drunk driver. At least that is what the reports have said within the last week. Just to kind of close things out, Ben, I'm sorry if you'd like to say anything, but I'm just going to close this part out just by saying, please be responsible. If you were to go out, please don't drive drunk. And nonetheless, I think this happened like early in the morning as well, last week. So if you legitimately have a problem, please go and get some help, because that is serious. Not only can you hurt yourself, but you can obviously hurt others. And Kyrie Jackson, it's unfortunate because you see somebody go ahead and achieve the dreams that they always had, and come up a little bit short. So, just be responsible. That's it. We obviously care. But anyways, Steelers cornerback Cam Sutton has been suspended for 8 games in the NFL. You can do your research as to why. And then Saints rookie quarterback
Spencer Rattler will compete with quarterback Jake Haener for the backup quarterback role. Now, I know that this isn't starting player news. However, it's worth noting because this is a rookie quarterback that will compete for a backup job. Obviously, Saints are doing the correct thing by developing Spencer Rattler, who at one time was projected an early first-round pick. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But Ben, do you have anything else to say about Spencer Rattler or anything else we talked about?
No. Well, yeah. First off, rest in peace to him, and thoughts and prayers out to everyone in the Kyrie Jackson and his friends and family and whatnot. Really sad to see that. But something on a lighter note, again, something that we try to talk about. We try to lead astray from that sad stuff and then the Cam Sutton stuff. But Spencer Rattler, again, we had Matt on talking about the Saints and whatnot, and we had talked about whether or not he wants to see Spencer Rattler even play. He said no. But in terms of someone who's not a Saints fan, I think it would be really, really fun to see him play, whether that's a Derek Carr injury. Hopefully that does not happen. But I think it's going to be really, really fun. I'd be shocked if Spencer Rattler does not beat out Jake Haener for that role. I was never a Jake Haener guy coming out of the draft just 2 years ago now at this point. I think Spencer Rattler is going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I'm excited to see how that develops. And I think in a matter of 2 to 3 years, we're looking at probably the starting quarterback of the Saints. They got him in the 4th round. The hope is for him to sit back and develop behind Derek Carr for a little bit and then eventually take over. So I'm excited to see if he plays at all this season.
Of course. And last but not least, we do have an announcement to make regarding the Pigskin Project team. We have officially gained one more person on the Pigskin Project team. And this was just long overdue at this point. I kind of expected this to become something in the future. Matt Hartman, the occasional co-host, will not only be an occasional co-host as he normally has been, but he is also going to be producer and social media manager of the Pigskin Project. So hopefully you'll be seeing us a lot more. And not only that, but we do have an Instagram now. So if you have Instagram, please give us a follow on there. It's just at the Pigskin Project. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be posting a lot more there, especially clips. So if you are one to watch Reels instead of TikTok, we are branching out to you as the audience. And maybe just because they're kind of linked, maybe we'll start streaming on Facebook again as a result because we can grow a following. So it'll be a lot of fun. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into our very next segment.
You think you know football? Well, prove it. This is Pigskin Pick'em.
All right. So starting off, obviously last week we had the Rams and then the Seahawks. So like I had said to start us out, we have the Cardinals and 49ers. So, Ben, I've been kind of rambling this episode, so why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yes, I'll start us off, and I apologize, guys, if I'm mumbling a little bit. I'm kind of tired here. Been working like 10 days straight here. It's been hot, working outside 10 hours. This is besides the point. I'll start off against the Cardinals. You'll be happy to hear. I do, we'll get to it in a little bit, but I do finally have the Bears winning a game. We'll get to the Bears eventually, but we finally do have a Bears winning against an opponent that we're talking about here on the podcast, which, if you guys want to hear more about that, listen to last week's podcast. Ryan got pretty heated about that. But at the Bills, they're going to lose that one. I would be very shocked if anyone would disagree with that one. The Bills just have a better roster, better quarterback. The Bills are going to win that one. They're going to lose against the Rams as well, and they're going to lose against the Lions as well. But come week 4, they're going to have their first win against the Commanders. The Commanders might be the worst team in football this coming year. We'll get to it when we cover the NFC East, but I'd be shocked if the Commanders win like more than 5 games. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but Commanders are going to be really, really bad. And I think this is going to be, that first game that we see that Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. connection really develop, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then they go on a nice big losing streak here, winning their next 4 games against the Niners, Packers, Chargers, and Dolphins.
Losing them, but yes.
You said winning, did I say winning? Yeah, you're good. Losing. That's my bad, guys. And then, we also have them losing against the Bears as well.
Good.
And losing against the Jets as well. So, that being said, we do have them beating the Seahawks. Again, these divisional matchups get really, really tricky. Again, if you guys have been long listeners podcast, I say this every single episode. You guys are sick and tired of me saying this. But again, I usually have these teams splitting. I think they just didn't have a good look when it comes to their schedule. I just don't think I think they're a better team than what they're going to end up, what their record shows. And I think they're going to beat the Seahawks here, and I think they're going to split with the Seahawks. They do go on a big, nice run here at the end. That being said, they're going to beat the Vikings. They're going to beat the Seahawks again. They're going to beat the Patriots and the Panthers. They will end the season losing to the Rams and Niners. So, but the nice little run. I know we disagree on how we see this team. I don't want to spoil what you pick, but I have them winning 7 games this season. I think that's how that works out. So,
1, 2, 3,
could be 6. 5, I'm really tired.
6. Yeah, I counted 6. So 6 and
11. There it is. 6 and 10. Yeah.
Getting to some comments here really quick. Just want to kind of clear up some stuff. So as far as the Titans talk, we did talk about the Titans, I believe, recently. Let me find that episode for you so you can kind of go back to that if that's something that you're interested in. Let's see. That was episode 113, I believe. Yes. So if you want to look up about the Titans, then that's cool. If not, let's see. I'm seeing somebody's talking about a joint practice with the Saints. It looks like they have a Rams helmet in their profile picture. I'm not entirely sure exactly what your profile name is, but beat the Raiders with starters. I don't know. Let's see. San Francisco's preseason. Okay. Let me get to the 49ers next.
Yeah. We'll get the same frame here in a second. We're talking about the Cardinals.
Lastly, the Jets. That will be, I would assume, one of our next divisions.
Yes.
If not, so just kind of stay posted with us. Give us a follow if you're cool with that, and stay posted because we will definitely be talking about the Jets. That's one of the teams that have the most amount of media hype as well going into the offseason because they're getting Aaron Rodgers back. So there's definitely some intrigue about that. But we will absolutely talk about the 49ers this episode because they're worthwhile. Anyway,
we had talked about it with the Jets really quickly. The Jets are going to be one of those tough teams. We just don't know how they're going to perform. We never saw them with Aaron Rodgers, but the defense is absolutely again, we talked about it last week. I think that defense is going to be the best defense in the entire league. So they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. But like Ryan said, if you're interested in Jets talk, stay tuned. We'll be talking about the Jets here soon.
Yeah. So starting off with the Cardinals for me, I have them winning against the Bills to shock everybody.
Wow.
Now, let me just say this, right? There are always going to be those week 1 games that are kind of shell-shocked for everybody as far as what's going on. And I think the story about the Bills is that they lost their top receiver in Stephon Diggs. Obviously, they do have a rookie probably going to be starting for the Bills and that new wide receiver core. They did lose Gabe Davis as well, given that he's not going to be like the top option for anybody, especially if he was on the Bills. But nonetheless, they're losing a lot of momentum and adapting to a new team. And ultimately, the Cardinals, I feel like, might be able to edge one out and get the win here. So I will say that they will win, and Marvin Harrison will look good, and that's part of the talk of week 1. But that's the magic of week 1, right? And then they'll go ahead and lose the next 2. So they'll lose against the Rams, and then they'll lose against the Lions. They'll win against the Commanders. We're in agreement there.
Yeah.
They'll lose the next 2 against the 49ers and Packers. It's just those teams have more of a complete roster. Let's see. They will beat the Chargers at home.
Wow.
I do
That's
expect
bold.
them to do that.
Yeah.
They will lose against the Dolphins. They will lose against the Bears. I do think the Bears and the Cardinals will have a pretty good battle. My mentality going into the Cardinals season is that they will ride off the momentum of last year and how they finished and improve off of the roster additions that they've made in this offseason. They will lose against the Jets. They'll lose against the Seahawks. And then they will just go ahead and win out. They'll beat the Vikings. They'll beat the Seahawks. They'll beat the Patriots, beat the Panthers, beat the Rams, and beat the Niners because the Niners will have, their end to the season. They'll be resting players. So at that point, the Cardinals finished 9-8. I'm very, very excited here. Before we get to the 49ers, we do have one more comment. Special teams transition to backup strong safety will happen to most rosters this year after so many secondaries went down this week. Vikings, 49ers, Steelers. So I don't know exactly. Yeah, just explain yourself a little bit more in the comments. We'll go over it for sure.
Yeah. I will say, compared to last week when we did see eye to eye, I don't think we view the Cardinals as the same level. As much as I tend to poop on the Bears, despite your disagreement there, I think the Bears are just going to be a far better team. And that's going to be my measuring stick this year is going to be the Bears. And if you're competing with the Bears, that probably means you're a pretty middle of the pack team. If the Bears are blowing you out, that means you're a bad team. And if you're blowing the Bears out, that probably means you're a good team. So the Bears are kind of be my measuring stick. And to be frank, I think the Bears are going to blow out the Cardinals in this game.
Wow. I just think, they had a fun team to watch towards the end of last season.
They did. And a lot of that did have to do with Kyler. I mean, that's when Kyler started coming back. So it's how much confidence do you have in Kyler and how much confidence do you have in Kyler's connection with Marvin Harrison Jr.? I will say I do, for those who play fantasy football, and I would assume, at least a big chunk of our listeners do, I expect a big breakout season for Trey McBride this season. If you can get him in the 6th or 7th round of your fantasy draft, I would absolutely pull the trigger on that.
I like their roster. I mean, I do as a starting point. Me.
It's Budda Baker and everyone else on the defense, and that's the big thing that scares me.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's okay. But anyways, he's saying the kickoff gunners were getting cut from the roster because of the special teams changes. Yes, I'm not a fan of the special teams changes. I'll be honest.
I love the special teams changes. I think it encourages more returns. I don't know, but it encourages more returns and it puts more emphasis on better kicking, but B more of it brings the value of having a better return man back to the league. A play that the kickoff would have been that's kind of become irrelevant at this point because so many teams have been taking a touchback. These new rules have put into place more importance on the kickoff and having a good kicker. So I'm a fan of the new special teams changes in the kickoff rules, but I guess Ryan is not. That's new. I guess you learned something new.
Next up, 49ers. Obviously, speaking of momentum, you can't get more momentum than a Super Bowl run. They are NFC champions. I'm going to go ahead and start us off for this one. We'll just kind of trade. I have them winning the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. They will win against the Jets, which is going to be so much fun as far as, the starting of the season. I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to just knock off the NFC champions first week. And seeing Aaron Rodgers lose is something that I'm going to really enjoy week 1. By the way, Aaron Rodgers' record, if I remember correctly, close to my birthday or on my birthday, not very good. So, whatever. Anyways, they'll beat the Vikings. Don't expect that to be close at all. Beat the Rams again, not going to be too close. Beat the Patriots. Oh, by the way, if you draft CMC, that week 3 matchup against the Rams is going to be beautiful for you. So have fun. They'll beat the Patriots. That one will not be as fun for CMC owners. They'll beat the Cardinals. They'll beat the Seahawks. They'll beat the Chiefs at home in a Super Bowl rematch, just because they're at home. If they were at Arrowhead, it was going to be a lot closer. Patty might pull that one out. Then I have them losing against the Cowboys at home, and the reason why is because the Cowboys, they're a regular season team, to be quite honest with you. I like the Cowboys defense more than I do the Chiefs anyways. But, ultimately, the Cowboys are just going to cowboy. They're going to win games that it's going to be really close and stuff. I am interested because I don't think we've talked about that division yet. No. I am interested to see what they do about the running back position because the rumor right now going into training camp is that Ezekiel Elliott's going to get cut. So that's
but then there was a secondary rumor that came out saying that they'd be very, very shocked if he did. I would be really shocked too if they did. I mean, they had paid him like $12 million or something and then had cut him. Then he went to the Patriots, as we know, and then had re-signed him. And then if they cut him again, then they're going to owe him another, I think, $2.5 million. So I just don't, financial wise, I just don't think it makes any sense to cut him at this point.
And then they're going to win against the Buccaneers, win against the Seahawks, win against the Packers at Lambeau, win against the Bills in Buffalo, win against the Bears at home, win against the Rams at home, lose to the Dolphins in Miami, lose to the Lions at home, and then lose to the Cardinals. Just because, I understand that, they're going to be – I do think that they would clinch the 1 seed with only 13 wins. I think that, and if not, then let's say that they'll play that last game against the Cardinals and they'll beat them, and I'll swap that. And Cardinals will lose 9 games instead of win 9 games. Yeah. But yeah, I have the 49ers going 13-4. So that will be your division winner there.
I will say we view them pretty similarly. That being said, before I get into my schedule breakdown, if they go, let's say 14-3, then I know you have not always been the biggest Brock Purdy guy. If they go 14-3, you will have to then change your stance on Brock Purdy, right?
No, I don't.
Really? Even if they go 14-3?
Brandon Ayuk is going to stay on this team, and they just got better. They got better this offseason. Like, you can – here's my point.
I don't know about getting –
You can have a good offense and a great defense led – and this team could be led by a mediocre quarterback, and you could win a Super Bowl.
Caleb Williams. Sorry. I had a cough there.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. All right. Anyways. No, but you can go, and the point I was making is actually a Bears point, is because we took Rex Grossman all the way against the Colts in 2006. Yeah. It's like, there is an opportunity for a mediocre quarterback to be carried by the team that they're playing on. I understand that the play has to be important, and he does make good plays from time to time, I will say. But does that make him like a top 5 quarterback because he can consistently win 13 games on the team that's completely stacked? It's a weak 5. NFC.
Top 5 in the NFC, though, right?
In the NFC, sure. I guess so. Like, look at the NFC. Who's better than him right now? Do you take Kirk Cousins over Brock Purdy right now? How about Jared Goff?
I would probably take Kirk. I don't think I'd take Goff. I think I'd take Kirk, not Goff. Here's the big kicker before I get into it. And then once I have you answer this question, I'll get at my schedule breakdown, I guess. What if you were forced, given contracts the same, because contracts are different. Obviously, Hurts is making a significantly more than what Purdy is, because Purdy's still on that, UDFA rookie contract that he's on. Contracts being the same, you're a GM of a team. Are you going to pick Hurts, or are you going to pick Purdy to start your team?
I'm picking Hurts every day.
Wow. Okay. For those who are longtime listeners of the podcast, you guys
I mean, even though he's basically Justin Fields, but I'm taking.
Oh, stop it! The bit is over. He's not on your team anymore.
I take Hurts every day. I'm not a fan of Purdy. I mean, NFC,
as do I, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the NFC, there's certain quarterbacks. Obviously, I'll take over him. I do take Kirk over him. I'll take Dak over him. Honestly,
I would take Dak. I think the only 3 quarterbacks I would take over him okay. There's 4 quarterbacks there's 5 quarterbacks I take over him.
So he's not top 5 in the NFC.
So he's not top 5 for me. That would be Dak, Hurts, Kirk, Matt Stafford, and then this will make people mad, but I would take Kyler over him as well.
You ready for my picks over him? I'm looking at this right now.
Oh God.
Dak, Hurts, Kyler. Wait, what did I say? Dak, Hurts, Kyler. Goff, Kirk.
Oh, Matt asked a good question.
I was just about to say Jordan Love.
I think I might take Jordan Love over him as well.
I like what Jordan Love has done with weaker weapons. If you plug in Jordan Love on that team, yikes.
I might need Jordan Love as well. I think
but there are
as well.
So there are several quarterbacks that I would rather take. I mean,
so he's 6. So he's 7.
You know what?
So he's 7 in the NFC for me. So he's mid. And then you add into like the AFC, he's probably like, if you add in the AFC, and I'm not going to run through all of the AFC as we just did with the NFC.
Not yet, because we can do this next week as far as quarterback rankings.
Well, we'll do this next week. Tune into the podcast next week. That being said, I will say this without looking at the AFC. Purdy is a fringe top 15 quarterback. He's probably at like 15. Would just me thinking about it like off.
He's mid.
I think his supporting cast helps him a lot, and I think even more than his supporting cast, I think his head coach helps him.
What does Purdy do on the Seahawks? Receiving core and good running backs.
What does Tom Brady do on the Raiders? But that's besides the point. Right.
I mean, obviously there's an argument to be made, and obviously the situation has to be correct and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you plug in Brock Purdy somewhere else. Let's say that they don't want to pay him the money that he's going to ask for because it's going to be stupid. Like if Trevor Lawrence paid 50 something, like do you pay Purdy more than you do Trevor Lawrence because he's made a Super Bowl appearance? No, the potential's different though. The potential's significantly different.
I mean, T-Law has significantly way more potential than him. I mean, that's why T-Law went 101 versus being Mr. Irrelevant now at this point.
Yeah. Let me answer this.
Much of it has to do with the roster. Well, real quick, I mean, if you're paying Brock Purdy, let's say even $40 million, so let's say the Daniel Jones contract of $40 million, then you're not going to be able to pay Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, and Brendan Ayuk all what you're paying him. So you're either going to be taking the less money to have that great supporting cast, or you're going to be making this crazy amount of money not having this supporting cast. Unless you're Harry Roseman and you get Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley, but that's besides the point.
To answer questions that are coming in here, are you guys talking about the 49ers? Yes, we are. Ben still has to get to his 49er schedule, so we will be cutting this quarterback argument short. So, Matt, do us a favor next week and, give us this argument to have tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, next week. Rick coming in and saying McCaffrey is a good running back, one of the best in the league when he has a bonus. Oh yeah, he's probably the best in the league. Yeah,
No,
that one I
he
don't
absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I don't think there's any argument to have there. The guy's insane, but he has to stay healthy. Like this is the first season in how long? Yeah, but like this is the first season in how long that he's actually stayed healthy throughout the majority of it, if not all of it.
Yeah.
And it's like not only that, but obviously his tenure with the Panthers and stuff. I mean, like he was still really good when he played.
Was still one of the top 5 best running backs in the league.
But let me just say this too. If you play fantasy football, you might want to take a look at Saquon Barkley too, because he's probably going to be along the top 5 running backs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The dude's insane, especially when he's healthy. If you're willing to take, I would say he's probably a first-round draft pick, fringe first-round draft pick, early second, easy for Saquon. But, ultimately, it's fun. Are we 49er fans? Rick, we can tell that you're a little new here. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes,
so Ben,
absolutely.
you are
I'm an Eagles fan.
And
so it's the farthest you can get from 49ers.
yeah. I am a huge Bears fan as well. So, the complete opposites as far as winning. But yeah, hopefully that changes. But Ben, let me get your schedule, bro.
Yes. So real quick, Rick, you had tuned in right when we were talking about Brock Purdy, actually, when we were having a discussion on whether or not you pay Brock Purdy $50 million, in which he may or may not ask for, or you try to go out and find another quarterback for $20 million and pay the supporting cast. But we'll get to quarterback rankings hopefully next week. In terms of my Niners schedule, we see the Niners pretty eye to eye. Ryan, again, had them winning 13 games. I have them winning 12 games, not to spoil it too much. So we're pretty, par there. I'm going to have them win week 1 against the Niners, or win week 1 against the Jets. We're going to have them win against the Vikings. I'm actually going to have their first loss against the Rams. I'm really high, like unusually high on the Rams this year. I don't know what it was. We did the Rams podcast last week. Go and listen to that if you guys are Rams fans or you guys want to hear my opinions on the Rams. I like Matt Stafford. I like the supporting cast around him. The defense is a little bit of a question mark, but I think as long as you have Sean McVay and the supporting cast you have around Matt Stafford, it's hard to not be good. So I'm going to have the Rams kind of beat them in a little bit of a shocker there. But we're going to have the Pats. We're going to have them beat the Pats. We're going to have them beat the Cardinals. And another shocker here, we're going to have them lose another divisional game against the Seahawks. Geno's going to catch them off guard. This is going to be that one weird Geno game where Geno goes off for like 350 yards. DK is going to win someone, their best ball because he has 2 touchdowns and 150 yards. Then they're going to beat the Chiefs. So we see eye to eye on that one. I was not expecting us to both pick the Niners to beat the Chiefs, especially after the Chiefs whooped them. I don't want to say whooped them, but beat them in the Super Bowl.
Overtime.
And then, we have them losing against the Cowboys. This just seems kind of like one of those scheduled losses for some reason. I think they're a significantly better team against the Cowboys. Again, this is coming from an Eagles fan, but it just seems like one of those weird losses that they just lose. And then they go just on an absolute tear. They beat the Bucs, they beat the Seahawks, beat the Packers, beat the Bills, beat the Bears. No shock there.
Dude, I hope that's a close game, though. That'd be awesome if it was close.
Yeah. I had the Rams beating them a second time as well. The Rams are going to win it again here. And then we have the Niners winning against the Dolphins, losing against the Lions, and then winning against the Cardinals. We're going to have them finish the season at 12-5. 12-5.
Not bad. Okay. 12-5 for Ben, 13-4 for me. Not bad. A little bit more comments here. It's going to be a good game. Jets and 49ers. Did you know that there's a lot of 49ers fans here in Chicago? I did. Shout out to my manager at my job. He, he's a huge 49ers fan. We have a little bit of a side bet going. Nothing financial or anything like that. Nothing that violates policies. It's just more so a friendly bet. I said that the Bears are going to make the playoffs, and he said the Bears are not going to make the playoffs.
Making the playoffs. I'll bet you on that one too.
Hey, you know what? I'll take you up on that. I will dish out whatever I have to dish out, but I promise you, the Bears are making the playoffs this year. They will squeeze in. It's going to be beautiful.
That's not happening.
Next up, so we are talking about one of the most anticipated games in video game history. Ben, why don't you talk to us a little bit about it as I finish this tile?
Yep. So as Ryan talked about at the top of the podcast here, by the time you guys tune into the podcast for next week, college football or NCAA, I think it's going to be called college football 25. I'm going to call it NCAA. I'm going to use them interchangeably. But NCAA 25 is going to be coming out. As of this morning, the rankings have come out. I'm super, super excited. My biggest concern was that this game was just going to be a reskin of Madden at the college level, but it seems like they have really put in the work, and like throws look different. The running lanes look different. I'm so incredibly excited. I had almost bought the $100 version so I could play it early, but to be frank, I'm not going to spend the extra $30 just so I can get it 3 days early. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I told him we can make that happen.
But I'm excited for it. Ryan and
I'm begging
you. Ryan and Matt will come on. Well, Ryan will come on, maybe Matt. And we'll talk about kind of how they feel Wednesday. And once the podcast is over Wednesday, it'll be my time to play the game. So I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will see me change rooms, so I'll be back in just a second here.
Yes, he will be back in just a second. But overall, this segment of the show is just to talk about the things that we are extremely excited to experience in this video game as we have anticipated it for years now. I mean, since it was in development, I want to say at the start of COVID was when stuff was starting to kind of come out about it. But, I mean, ultimately, a lot of things, if you guys have been following up with it, a lot of things have been announced, and if you guys will tune into their page, we're not sponsored by any means as well, just wanted to let you guys know that. But if you guys tune into their YouTube channel, tomorrow they are going to be featuring the Road to Glory segment, so that's going to be awesome. So Road to Glory, if you're not familiar with it, is basically like the career mode of college football, to where you take over one player and you just start playing as that. But there's different features and stuff that I'm sure we are very excited about individually. You know, obviously that roster portion is something huge, but you know, as far as ratings and stuff, it's awesome. I personally don't know a lot about college football, so I'm trying to learn about it.
This is your first college football, which is
just college football in general, you know what I mean? And so looking at the ranking of players and how they were rated, now it gives me an idea of, hey, these are guys that are pretty good, and maybe take a look at them.
I will say, not to get like too deep into the weeds here, I'm not a huge fan of their rankings. Like Will Johnson being their number one player in college football is a little wild to me. I think he's a 96. Don't agree with that. I'm pretty sure like their best like interior offensive lineman was Tate Radcliffe, who's like Georgia's like right guard or something. Don't agree with that. So I'm not like the biggest fan of their ratings. But that's a different conversation for another time. I'm just excited for the game to be out, to be frank.
Oh yeah. Answer your question, Rick. No, neither one of us lives in Chicago. Just fans of the game, man. That's really it.
Yeah. Chicago lane for this guy, but blue for me. So
yeah. Nonetheless, so some things that the game has announced, just overall that I'm excited about. The wear and tear system is going to be fun to kind of deal with and manage, just because that's like literally realistic to the highest level. As much as people were talking about how much, they were scared of Madden being a reskin for, college football being a reskin of Madden. Ultimately, I want Madden to be a reskin of college football now. You know what I mean? I want them to copy and paste this because college football just looks fantastic.
It looks so much better than Madden. It looks just incredibly better than Madden. Really quickly, off topic here. I hope you're a White Sox fan because White Sox pro White Sox guy here. He's not. He's a Cubs fan. But besides the point.
Hey, no, I root for the White Sox when they're not playing the Cubs and I don't have money on them.
That's that. How often is that? But
dude, if you bet against the White Sox, you're making a lot more money than you are betting for them. Anyways, and then not only that, but one other thing, and then I'll let you kind of talk about a couple points. We'll kind of go back and forth a couple times. Another thing that I'm extremely excited for is the fact that you can disguise coverages in the actual game to where you can look like you're putting yourself in a cover 2 and then you're really in like a cover 4 or something like that, to where it's like, this looks great. The ability to be flexible on both sides of the ball is just awesome. But I don't know. What are a couple things that you're excited for?
No, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the whole game. I mean, that's the easy answer there. I mean, obviously, I've waited like 10 years. I had joked with Mary that I'm going to take like that week off just to play this game. But someone here did take the entire week off to play this game. As you should, though, this being your first college football game.
You got a lot of time to make up for. Yeah.
Yes, you do. But again, I'm excited for the whole game. And I think I have finally decided on what my dynasty team is going to be. Ooh. I think I'm going to start with Boise State. I'm going to get Boise State up to a Power 4 conference here. I'm a big fan of their roster, as is. Ashton Gentry is going to be fantastic. If you guys don't know anything about him, he's a running back there. He'll be drafted this year. I'm blanking on their name, but their quarterback is a transfer from USC. It's just gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be really hard to not play on a fun field. I was really deciding between them and Coastal. At the end of the day, I picked Boise. The only reason I didn't pick Coastal is because my boy, blanking on his name now, but the quarterback at Coastal Carolina had transferred out to NC State, and that was the main reason I had switched off of them at the last minute here. But we're bringing Boise State to the glory here. We're going to be the champion, and I'm going to be doing a lot of screaming at my television for the next month and a half. It's going to be fantastic.
Matt, if you're still in the chat, let us know your team as well. Just because
Matt,
I don't know if you've decided.
Who I'm forgetting here. It's going to eat me alive that I don't know this Coastal Carolina. Grayson McCall, that's his name. Grayson. And it was going to drive me insane because he's like been my guy for like 3 years, and he's just like super old and has been like running this awful triple option offense in Coastal. Yeah. But nonetheless.
So, it's going to be a lot of fun ultimately. One thing that I'm really, really excited for is Team Builder. I mean, the return of Team Builder. That's one of the things that I used to love doing as a kid. And you can design your uniforms, your helmets, your fields. You get to upload your own logo. And then you can upload your program to use in Play Now and Dynasty as well. I'm so excited about that, man. And not only that, I believe they are going to do a little bit more of a deep dive into Team Builder at some point soon. But, it's really awesome that that's making a return, just because, I mean, a lot of people can really abuse the ability to upload their logo without diving into anything specific. But it's just, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to do. As far as Play Now, I wonder. Oh, no, I would assume not. I was gonna say there's no way that you can play as your franchise against somebody, right? Because that would be so cool.
That would be stupid, but no, it's not allowed. I will say the one thing in the game that doesn't make any sense to me is the Ultimate Team. Like, if you're playing Ultimate Team in college football, like, what are you doing with your life?
Go get a job. Stop playing Ultimate Team and do something else.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I'm ready for some Weddle. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get started.
It's time for America's favorite game,
Weddle.
All right, so we've got a couple new people in the chat. Before we get started with Weddle, I just want to say we would greatly appreciate it if you guys would drop a follow. We are live every single week. We are talking about literally every team this offseason, and we are approaching our final 4 divisions. I believe we're halfway through. But we are, literally just mere weeks away from training camp season. So the anticipation is starting to kind of heighten.
Okay.
Yes.
Real quick, not to cut you off here. I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about this, guys. If you are a Bears fan, for the love of God, do not buy training camp tickets for $400 on like Vivid Seats or something.
People have bought them for like $135. Like, what are you doing?
These are free. Like they give these away. Given it's a little bit like it's hard to like get them, but do not buy them, please. Me and Ryan were talking about this last night. I'm begging you to not pay that much money for something that was given to someone for free. Please do not do it, guys.
It's so dumb. Just don't do it. Yeah. But yes, back to Weddle. Ben's got a 15-game lead on me. Dude's been killing me. If you're unfamiliar with Weddle, basically, okay, we're not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way, so forget it. Yeah. But anyways, nonetheless, easy mode is the first mode that we play. It's just kind of a warm-up round so we can help each other out. Second round is both offense and defense as well as special teams. So just kind of watch and learn. So, Ben, you want to start us off for easy mode, and I'll start us off for hard mode as I always do.
I wonder where I'm going to start here. A.J. Brown.
All right. NFC wide receiver, that's 26. DK? No. He has NFC East, though. I think I know who it is.
Debo. No, it can't be Debo.
Do you want me to do it anyway? I can say who I think it is. But
do it anyways. It's not Debo.
Before this happens, I think it's Ayuk.
Yeah. It's not Debo. I knew by the number.
It's not Ayuk.
Jennings. There you go.
There we go. All right. Next up, hard mode, as always, Gervin Dexter.
So we don't help each other.
No.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
but it is another bear. 2 straight weeks it's a bear.
Moly.
All right.
TJ Edwards.
Okay. Not a linebacker. It's not D-line.
I know who it is. I think. No, the age, dude. Dude, the age.
Ooh, I think I know who it is now.
I don't know who it is. We'll do Jalen.
No.
Oh, dude, how do I keep on?
Why do you snipe the Bears from me?
Sniping the Bears from you, dude.
Unreal. 41-25, Ben. Whatever. Okay.
Last but not least, business, folks.
Yeah, business as always.
What's the name of the segment? Oh, you're not talking about Ryan and Ben? Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I've got it. It's time for Gridiron Goofs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am hereby making the executive decision to have a 15-minute time limit on this because we do have things to do afterwards.
I hope it doesn't take 15 minutes. I mean, yes. I hope we agree, but I know we don't based off of the conversations that we have had before the podcast has started when the filter in. That's besides the point. Ryan, I will let you explain to the people what we are talking about today.
Right here, Gridiron Goose, Hostess versus Little Debbie. Now, basically, there's a few products that, both businesses kind of share, you know what I mean, as far as they've got them under different names and stuff, but they are a little bit different in their own right. So ultimately, I do think they've got some differences, but I have my stance. Ben has his stance. We'll go over it. Hostess versus Little Debbie. the first thing that they both have, Swiss rolls. I don't think that they call them the same thing, but they are called Swiss rolls by one of them.
Yes.
Swiss rolls is kind of widely known by, I mean, pretty much everybody as the roll of chocolate and then cream as well. Let me share my screen so that people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Swiss rolls is Little Debbie, by the way.
Absolutely Little Debbie, but for some reason, Hostess decided to just switch up and call them ho-hos and just decide that.
By far, based off of the name, I mean, how is Hostess not better? But we're not going to do that today. It's a family-friendly podcast. Family-friendly podcast.
Next up, the chocolate cupcakes. No, what we mean by the chocolate cupcakes, this is one with the drizzle of icing across them, stuff like that. But they are sold by both companies, as you can tell. Here's the Little Debbie's, and then here's the Hostess right up here. $14.99 for a 16 count of cupcakes on Amazon. That's not a great deal, but anyways,
it's on Amazon. Come on, that has nothing to do with that, man. Amazon.
It's a 16 count.
Amazon sellers can set their prices in what they want. That's not Hostess. You can go to the store and get those for like $5.
$22 from Walmart? What are you talking about? Anyways, inflation sucks, guys. Anyway.
Well, maybe it's because it's higher quality and tastes better, but
do you think so? Probably. No. I've always seen the Hostess cupcakes. No. And then last but not least, what are they called? Cloud cakes, right?
They're called Twinkies. Yeah, this is the big selling point. Yeah. This, and then something else that we'll get into. And we'll start with this. For those who clearly could not tell in which the way that I was leaning, I think it is Hostess. Given, I think both do things very, very well. Like oatmeal cream pie might be my second favorite snack between the two. Given my favorite snack is a Hostess snack. But like two of my top three are Little Debbie's. So I think they both do things very well. It's very hard to decide which one I want. But when you think of these kind of things, what is the number one thing that you think of?
Hostess. They're Twinkies.
But Twinkies, right?
Absolutely.
Twinkies is what you think of. And it's Twinkies for a reason. Because Twinkies are just fantastic. I mean, they last through a nuclear apocalypse. Like that's what people are saying, right? Like
as far as like durability.
Yeah, durability and whatnot. But they had like disappeared for a long time, I'm pretty sure, and that's when like cloud cakes had taken over the market. But as soon as Twinkies had came back, they had taken back over the market. If any sane person gets cloud cakes over Twinkies, then I don't think you can any longer declare yourself as sane. Because Twinkies in every form are better. And like you had said, when you think of these kind of traits, the general population goes to Twinkies. Given me and you, our mind probably goes to the same snack, and it is on the Little Debbie side. But the general population goes to Twinkies. And if we're going based off the general vote here, which is probably the most important, it's Twinkies. And Twinkies owned by Hostess.
That's fair. I grew up more so on Little Debbie's, I will say. The oatmeal cream pies, like you said.
That's what I was referring to.
I mean, those obviously I did have my fair share of Twinkies. My grandpa loved Twinkies. And I remember, always waking up and hanging out with him, and then eventually at some point after breakfast, having a Twinkie with him because he would always eat one with his coffee. And so that was huge. It's just there's nice memories associated to both companies altogether. One thing that I cannot stress enough, I actually, you know what? I just finished a bag.
Oh my God.
If you eat literally any other brand of donuts,
yes,
these are the best ones. And by the way, I respect the powdered donuts.
I was going to say that.
But the chocolate ones are the best because they don't have as much of a mess.
This
I used to be a fan of the powdered ones, but
let me see if I can find it here. I'm fully aware that like I'm alone on this one, but my favorite one is not the powdered, is not the chocolate frosted one. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Are you talking about the crunch? Are you talking crunch ones? Oh yeah, yep, those are good.
They're all so good.
On occasion, the crunch ones are good.
They're my favorite. I don't know why they're
right?
called a. I don't know why they're called a crunch. Like why they're called like that, because they're not very crunchy. They're more soggy than anything. But like
yeah,
they taste absolutely just divine. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is where it gets like tough, because me and you are both like in agreement that like both brands are very good. But this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these guys right here.
Whatever that is.
I don't know what it is, like flavor wise and whatnot, like Ryan was saying, but these are absolutely delicious. These are my favorite ones, but like all three of them are good. You really can't.
It's coconut. I can confirm that is coconut.
Well, that is why. And that was the other point that I was going to make. And this is the reason that I had decided to go with Hostess over Little Debbie, is because my favorite sweet treat or sweet like cake. I'm not a big cake person. I'm pretty sure Ryan knows this at this point. Like I don't snack on like cake things like cupcakes, cookies. Like I tend to stay away from cake. Like I don't know what it is. Given I am a candy person, but that's besides the point. I'm not a big cake person. A snowball is like I will eat a snowball whenever the opportunity presents itself. For those who don't know what a snowball is, that was a perfect segue talking about the crunchy and the coconut into the snowball. It's a cake covered. It's a cake with it's like frosting on the inside, and then it's like a marshmallow. I'm pretty sure it's a marshmallow outing, and covered with coconut. And it is fantastic. And that is ultimately why I had picked Hostess, because Little Debbie doesn't even have their own version of that. I'm sure if Little Debbie had their own version of that, it would taste good. But that is ultimately why I had picked Hostess. That being said, my second favorite snack is something that only Hostess does, and that's the Nutty Buddy. The Nutty Buddy is also a fantastic, and I'm not a chocolate guy either, but a Nutty Buddies are really, really good.
Hey, I do enjoy a good Nutty Buddy, but that being said, I believe the discussion is over. They are good in their own right.
Yes.
We both grew up separately when it comes to, the brands themselves, and that's okay.
We grew up on opposite sides of the country at this point.
Yes. Yeah. So there is going to be some differences, but nonetheless, Ben, you can close out the show the way, talk about anything else that you want to, and then I'll say the whole spiel. Oh wait, we do have I guess an announcement to maybe make a little bit
maybe
for me, but for
you.
Oh
no, you do yours.
The background will be different within the next 3 to 4 months. So it's official. Finally got the apartment, the one that I wanted. And it'll be very nice. Hopefully I'll have a podcast room to where it'll be a little bit. Yes, but that. It'll be nice. A nice desk setup, and hopefully a good big computer to do it with. Awesome. But nonetheless, you're going to be seeing a lot more of the Pigskin Project, hopefully soon. Thank you to Matt for joining the team. But stay tuned. Ultimately, I want to say November.
Yes.
I let me map this out really quick. So
1, 2,
3,
really
4,
quickly. 5. Again, I cannot hammer it enough, guys. Please stay safe out there. Again, not to get like super sappy or anything on the podcast. Life is so incredibly precious. Please stay safe out there. We care about each and every one of our listeners. We care about each other. Just stay safe. Again, thank you. And then also in 2 weeks, we haven't yet decided. Finally, I think we're leaning towards doing the podcast on the 23rd, which would be a Tuesday. Me and Mary's anniversary is on the 25th, which is that Thursday, but we're going to do an Airbnb that Wednesday night, which is usually the podcast night, as you guys can tell right now. I think we are leaning on doing that that Tuesday night. Things might change. I would be shocked if things change. We're leaning doing it that Tuesday night. If worst comes to worst, we'll have Ryan on with a guest, or maybe just Ryan, solo Ryan podcast. Solo Ryan podcast, just strictly like that's the episode that we picked the NFC North, and he just goes full ham on the Bears. But anyways, we'll keep you guys updated. As Ryan said, we have an Instagram. Go ahead and give us a follow. It's the same thing as our Twitter and TikTok and Twitch up there. It's literally the exact same thing. So go ahead and give us a follow on that. We'll keep you guys updated on, again, mainly the Twitter there, but we're gonna try to pump out the content on everything. So thank you, Matt.
Yes, thank you very much. By the way, the announcement in the next couple weeks, as far as when we'll be doing the episode, will be put on our Twitter as well as our Instagram. So make sure to follow at least one of those if you guys would like to know when. Otherwise, if you guys would follow us on whatever platform you guys are listening on, whether that's Twitter, whether that's Twitch or YouTube. We had quite a few new people in here, so thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate all viewers, whether you're followed or not, so no pressure at all to you. But nonetheless, we want to thank Spotify for podcasters, Regional Radio Sports Network, and Uppercuts Grooming for helping us grow as a podcast. And until next week, wanted to say, episode 135 will be the first episode that we are in the apartment. So
135.
That.
There you go.
135, 17 weeks. That's it.
Yes.
But nonetheless, thank you very much. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.